Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy New Year. Glad to see all of you this evening.
Yeah, so excited.
Super, super happy that you are here. Welcome, everybody. Keep on coming in. Let's see Catherine and Crystal and Yolanda and Ermin and Dee. Is that Janae? I'm like, ooh, it's phonetically close to my name. I'm like, how do they pronounce that?
Janae, that's my roommate.
Is it? Mm-hmm. Is it your roommate?
Hey, girl.
Hey, everybody, well, come on in. Well, you know what? We're going to get started right away because we have so much good stuff to talk to you about this evening. So I see your roommate waving. But welcome, everybody. And thank you for joining us. I'm Janai Thornton. And wave and say hello to Tiana. And wave and say hello to Lauren. All part of the Thank Me Later team and family. And listen, we are so excited about 2022. This is our first event of the year since we were on a little hiatus at the end of the year. And I don't know if you all were following us on social media about 5 o'clock today. Tiana and I kind of teed everybody up as to what we were going to cover today. So this is Tiana's baby. You know, we were talking about our programming. I wanted to just kind of hit the ground running and focus on goals. And she was like, maybe we need to kind of step back a little bit and help people be able to accomplish their goals. You know, let's focus on a little mindfulness. Let's focus on why we have challenges with certain things financially. Mm-hmm. Let's focus on why we have some fears. Trauma, you know, some of us have some straight trauma related to money. You know, we're living in the past, we can't focus on the present. Like there are just so many things that keep us from living our true financial life that's like in our head, and a lot of us in our heart too. So we want to kind of take a step back and take the right approach and versus just saying, you know, let's go and hit the ground running. So Tiana, I'm going to ask you to get us kicked off, to let people know what we're going to be covering today. And we're going to get right in it because ladies, we have so much to cover. I am so excited. Let's go, Tiana.
I'm so excited too. Hey. So this is our first Money Mindset Masterclass. So if you have been in the community prior to today, you may know, on the first week of the month, we always do a preview. And so to Janai's point, I wanted to try something new this year and to really get us settled and in the right mind frame to go after the Thank Me Later topics. So today we're going to be talking about how to get financially fit in 2022 and how to assess yourself and see where you are so that you know what goals you should be setting,
hey,
what goals.
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
If you guys could
I'm on a call right now.
Please mute yourself, anybody. Everybody, please get on mute.
Yeah.
Okay, how you doing?
Who is that?
I'm bad, yourself.
I'm gonna just go mute everybody.
Yeah, just mute everybody. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Tiana.
Yep, no, you're good. I'm just going through.
Okay. Okay. All right, I'll go get her.
Okay. We're back.
We're back. Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. So we're going to be talking about how to get financially fit in 2022, assessing ourselves, stepping on the financial scale to see in each area where we can make improvements, where we actually might be good at, this year, and what needs to get done ASAP, in addition to addressing financial fears, like what in the areas where we feel a lot of procrastination and hesitation, really getting to the root of like, why do we feel that way so that we can know that, accept that, and move forward. So we can dive right on in. So I will share my screen, and this will be, we want this to be very engaging. So it is going to require you to do some work. I encourage you, we're going to talk about what you need, but get ready to pull out a piece of paper, a notebook. We will do some reflection, some exercises so that, and you have your phone too. Because we don't want to just talk at you. We want this to be a very engaging conversation and for you to do some reflection as well. So be prepared for that. All right. So I'm going to share my screen and we can dive on in. You guys can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay. So how to get financially fit in 2022. So Janai, you want to talk about Thank Me Later real quick since this is your baby?
So we launched Thank Me Later in March of 2021. And here we are, the beginning of 2022, and we're super excited. And where Thank Me Later really comes from is I've been super blessed to be able to work in media, particularly radio, actually since 1996. And I get to talk to amazing Black women like you all the time. But I get to hear from hundreds and thousands of women, but guess what? I kept getting the same questions over and over and over again. So we created a system to really guide you every month what you should be focusing on. And so we'll talk about that in a little bit. So you'll understand the commitment. You can't pick money up and put it down. It's like kind of working out once a month. We know what type of results we get from that, but money is the same way. And we wanted to create a safe space for us as women and for us as Black women, because our experience is different. So here is your safe space and the guidance and the community you need to be where you want to be and live how you want to live financially.
And just to kind of give you guys context, if you're not familiar or just kind of coming into the Thank Me Later community. So we have monthly member programming like this, and in addition to other programming throughout the month, which we'll talk about what we have in store for January at the end of this session. And then we have a series called Thank Me Later Real Life, where there are episodes that address different life events that have a financial impact. So whether it's a positive life event, negative life event, we address it. So, what to do if you are buying a car or get in a car accident, or what to do if you have to file for divorce. So we cover different topics there. And then all of our content is housed in the Mighty Networks community, which you guys are all members of or will be invited to if you're not already a member. And so that's just kind of some context into the content that we create for Thank Me Later. All right, so wanted to start off to kind of just show the data, to really talk about where we are. So according to the US Census Bureau, almost 80% of Black women are key breadwinners for their families. So that's a part of why we wanted Thank Me Later to be catered to Black women, because so many of us are assuming these roles as breadwinners, but we have never been taught how to manage our money. We've never been taught, we're making more money now, but we don't know what to do with it. And there's so much weight on our shoulders. So we wanted to create a community that specializes in serving us, since so many of us are key breadwinners in our families. And so, sorry.
Tiana, when I hear you say that, it also makes me think about, yes, not only are we the key breadwinners, we're the chief money officers, but we didn't sign up for the job. A lot of us inherited the job, just trying to do the best that we can in this job and not really equipped for the job. So yeah, that's why we're here, to help women be confident, not only breadwinners, but know how to manage their money.
Yes, so true. Nobody really gave us a playbook, so that's where Thank Me Later comes in. Janai's taking her years of experience as an accountant, as a business owner, and package it in a way that is very digestible. And I'll talk a lot about my own experience of working with Janai and Thank Me Later, and how I'm pushing through my money goals as I'm working through the content on the marketing front. So for today's masterclass, our Money Mindset Masterclass, these are our goals. So want to set the tone now so that we can all be wrapping our mind around what we have going on today. So first, we're going to measure our financial fitness, getting on the scale, assessing the numbers, not judging ourselves for wherever we are, but just seeing where we are. And we're also going to address our fears around and limiting beliefs around money. And then we're going to create a solid plan to conquer at least one urgent money goal in 2022. So there's a lot of goals that you may have, but we want to address what is the urgent one that's keeping you up at night that you are just not making progress towards. What do we need to address so that we can move forward and tackle that goal in addition to our other goals? Anything else, Janai, that you want to mention about what you hope people get out of this session?
No, really, Tiana, for me, it's for all of us to get a solid understanding and understand that this is a call to action. So this is good. I am super grateful. I'm super happy that all of you are here. But after we do this, there's some commitments and there's some work that we have to do. And so I want to make sure that we're all supporting each other and getting ready to feel confident and move forward in what we need to accomplish.
Yes. All right, diving in. So what do you need for this Money Mindset Masterclass? Again, we want this to be an actionable workshop style. It's not a lecture. Definitely feel free to ask questions and stuff like that. But we want to first talk about what we need. So definitely open mind, self-awareness, doing some reflection. Again, that's going to be a big part of this. A pen, a sheet of paper, or a journal. I have this I don't know if y'all can see mine. It's great, but I have this cute journal that I'm going to be writing in, and that's going to kind of be documenting my reflections throughout the year, starting with today. You'll need your cell phone. We have this awesome tool called Minty Meter that allows you to do some fun engagement. So you'll need your cell phone, and I'll explain how to use that tool. And then there are 2 downloads that we have, one, a financial fitness wheel, and a Thank Me Later January guide. So each month we share a download so that you can know exactly what you need to be doing. So both of those are in the community and in the chat. And Lauren, if you could drop those in the chat so that people can download them if they haven't downloaded it in the community, that would be awesome. All right, so take a minute, settle in, get what you need, and we're going to dive right in. All right, so starting off with a mantra. So I'm really into affirmations. I believe that there's so much power in what we say to ourselves, what we think, and even if the reality of your situation is not what the affirmation says, the more you say it, the more you will attract it into your life. So today we want to anchor, and in general, our January money mantra is, I am my most valuable asset, so I act accordingly. So I'll say that again. And when I say affirmations, I try to emphasize different words. So again, I am my most valuable asset, so I act accordingly. And if you have other money mantras or affirmations that resonate with you, feel free to write them down, to drop them in the chat. Would love to kind of hear what you're saying to yourself. And just a bit about why we chose this as the money mantra and how it's impacting your money mindset. So if you think about an asset, whether it's cash, it's real estate, investment account, savings account, stocks, all of that, it's valuable to you. You're putting your money, you're putting things into this asset so that it has a return, but taking a minute to look at yourself and see yourself as an asset, to see your gifts as an asset, and to treat yourself accordingly. So really prioritizing your mental wellness, doing the work that we're talking about today, but knowing that, we're talking about this money mindset, but this is an ongoing practice. There are things that you're going to have to do the inner work, self-reflection through therapy, through journaling, meditation, taking walks, movement, all of those different things that impact how you view your life and how you view your relationship with money. But knowing that doing the work is an ongoing process. So I want to ground ourselves there. And then to get financially fit. So again, today we're talking about financial fitness. What should we be doing throughout the year to get in the best financial shape of our life? And so to do that, you have to be honest about where you are on your money journey. So not judging yourself, not talking bad about yourself. It's just accepting where you are, being aware of where you are, being aware of your money habits at this point, and then making a plan to move forward. And Janai, I would love for you to talk a little bit about your own journey as learning how to be financially fit and how to accept whatever the situation is at hand.
You know, it's funny, Tiana, when you teach people about money or you talk about money, people always assume that you've always had it, or that you've like always been, you know, you've been good with it. And I always have to remind people of my story of having, getting pregnant at 20 and having my first child in college and just starting my life in the red, like out of the gates in the red. Mm-hmm. And, what's funny for me is we just didn't have enough, there just was not enough. And I got so used to struggling that it became normal for me. Mm-hmm. And then even when I started to do better, I took a big risk, left my job, and to create my company, left way too early. I was not ready, which put us even further behind, had another kid. So we were like straight struggle. But when we started to do better, I still was living like the struggling Janai of the past. Mm-hmm. So all that fear, because I was always in a constant state of fear because we were just holding on. Someone put in the chat about not saving. I could not save a dime, just literally holding on. And I lived that way for so long. I didn't know that there was another way for me to be.
Mm-hmm. You were like conditioned to be like, this is the way of life. This is
just how it is. So right. I didn't even know that it was possible to live a different way. And then when I began to do my work, my inner work first about shifting my mindset. And it's actually a story from Maya Angelou that really changed my life, how I knew it was possible for me. Mm-hmm. And when I started doing good and started making money, I was still holding on, like scared to death about everything, because that had been my life for so long. Mm-hmm. that I couldn't let that go until somebody actually had to bring it to my attention.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm still living in the past. I'm still living of the trauma of not having enough, of literally just month to month. You know how you get to the end of the month, you're like, whoo, we made it. And
we made it, right. It's starting it
again. And now you're getting ready to begin again.
Right.
And it was just so difficult for us. And the last thing, it was, I think, even harder for me because I didn't grow up struggling as a kid. A lot of people, that's their story. I didn't start struggling until I was out here being grown, living my best life and getting pregnant in college. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't struggle as a kid. So for me to begin to struggle as a young adult, I was like, this is some BS right here. Like, right. This is crazy. I couldn't identify with that. I never struggled as a kid. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so, just again, but we don't even have the mindset. It just becomes normal, This is the last thing, and I'm going to kick it back over to you. And a lot of us as women can relate to this. If you have fibroids, and I always used to have very heavy cycles, and my gynecologist said to me one day, Janai, just because you've gotten used to a heavy cycle doesn't mean it's normal. And when she said that, I was like, oh my gosh, she's right. This is not normal. Mm-hmm, so you not being able to save, don't get used to that.
Yeah.
You living paycheck to pay. There is another way, but you have to shift first.
Right.
So everything else around you can begin to shift too. You want your financial situation to change, but you have to change first. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the connection that people have to make. Like you have to shift first. And I'm telling you, when my OBGYN said that to me, I was like, oh my God, I have just gotten accustomed to living like this. And this is crazy how I was living, you know? But she gave me an opportunity to say, okay, I can make another choice. And then I felt empowered. Okay, what are my other choices? Now let me move forward.
Right, because you don't have to be in survival mode anymore. You're like, I don't have to like live like this. This is how I have been surviving up until now. But we don't have to keep doing this. We can
let's create a new normal here, like a new definition of how I want to live my life. Like, let's clean the slate and let's redefine this.
And I love what Michelle just dropped in the chat. She said, the definition of insanity, doing the same and expecting different. It's like, you're not going to have different if you don't show up differently. So.
Right. But you know, what's funny about that, and Michelle, thank you for sharing that. And Tiana, a lot of us aren't even expecting anything to be different though. That's a whole different thing. You know, I think a lot of us just think this is it.
This is right.
This is as good as it gets.
That is always
this is my reality. This is where I am, versus saying, you know what, I want to clean my slate. I want to reimagine. So I'm not saying it's magic, ladies, and you get to wave your magic wand and it's going to fall out the sky. But just to know that I can live differently. I can save. I can go on vacation. I can retire. I can put my kids through college. You know, I can pay off my credit card debt. You know, just you got to know that that's possible first. So then you can feel confident about doing the work. Because if you don't think it's possible, you're not even going to try.
Not going to do anything. Yeah, exactly. So true. All right. So moving into, I'm going to share my screen again. Time to get into on the financial scale. So everybody get your pens out, get a notebook out or a sheet of paper. Because it's time to weigh in. So again, we're talking about conquering our fears around money. But in order to do that, first we need to assess where we are on the financial scale. So we have this financial fitness wheel, which has 12 different topics that have a financial impact. So we have mindfulness and goal setting. We have tax season, taxes, career, business. We have organizing your documents, your important documents, saving and investing, credit, debt, budgeting / challenging your monthly expenses, estate planning, so creating your will, your power of attorney, your healthcare directive, financial aid, whether it's for you, if you're thinking about going back to school or paying off your student loans, or if you have a child who is going to college. We have benefits, insurance, and then planning for major purchases. So those are the 12 topics. So what we want you to do is to get out a sheet of paper and to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 for each of the 12 topics. Where do you fall? And be honest with yourself. Don't judge yourself, just where do you fall? So this is a document that's in the community. If you happen to, want a tangible copy and you want to shade it in, you can do that. But if we could all just take a few minutes and to rate ourselves on these, and then we can move forward.
And when rate yourself, obviously 1 being low, 10 being the highest. This can mean different things. This could mean your confidence level in this area. This could mean, like, for example, credit. This could mean, maybe your score is, 750, 700 and above. And that makes you kind of feel like you're, a solid 8 or 9. So it could be maybe an area that you have a tremendous amount of fear or ignorance around. Like, I don't have a clue about estate planning. So just take the time. And if you don't have the wheel, you can just number them 1 through 12, starting with mindfulness and goal setting, and just go around and what number initially comes to mind for you. Again, organization, it's all about your documents, important documents. Benefits, think about like all your benefits at your job, anything from all that open enrollment stuff, health, disability, life, all of that. So
Mhm.
where do you think you are in these different areas? So take a
Yeah.
minute and do that.
And I started off, I'm writing all the categories and then I'm assigning numbers next to mine. Because again, we're doing the work alongside you guys. So we're just going to take a few minutes and do that, and then we can move on.
And if you have any clarifying, you need clarification on something, you're not sure what something means, please drop that in the chat. I'm also curious for all of you ladies not feeling very adult-like based on rating on this wheel. Honey, let me tell you something. Yes, you are an adult because you are where you are. And see, that's the hard part, Michelle, is we assign an emotion to our number, in our rating ourselves versus it just being a number. Like there's an automatic emotion. If you put a 2 for something, that can make you not want to get out the bed.
Mm-hmm.
Versus, a 10, you're like, ooh, like I got this.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and then to know if something, I think most things will apply to everybody, maybe not financial aid. So,
right, just skip it. You could just say NA.
Exactly. If it doesn't apply to you at all. But I feel like the rest of these will apply to you somehow, whether you're great at it, you feel good about it, or you feel like there could be some room for improvement.
Right. So yeah, I don't want you to have anxiety. Someone just dropped in the chat about the anxiety. This is only, think about going to the doctor, right? You're going to get your physical. So now what do you have to do? You got to get on the scale. You got to give them a urine sample. You got to give them a blood sample. They're going to check your blood pressure, your temperature, all of that. Is insurance medical life? No, insurance is like your homeowners, auto, anything property and casualty. So that's life insurance does fall under there, but I want you to think about like your home and auto stuff first. But when you go to the doctor and you have a physical, like you got to kind of figure out where you start. This is just to kind of let you know where you are. This is just your starting point. Okay. This is just so we'll know. This is us getting on the scale, getting our labs done, so we can have a sense of where we are. So I know Tiana and I, what were we talking about? We were talking about our low numbers, our personal low numbers. Was it yesterday?
Yes.
I'm like, oh, man, I got a couple low numbers myself, ladies. No shame.
Yes. Well, you guys think we're ready to move forward? Did everybody, if you can drop in the chat and let us know if you're ready to skip to the next slide, and then we'll talk.
Let's go on. And again, if you're not finished, if this was kind of too much for you, we do want you to print this and really spend some time with this. Okay.
All right. So next up, we are going to use a cool app called Minty Meter. And so you want to go to minty.com, pull out your cell phone, go to minty.com, and then type in this code. And then it's going to prompt you to answer this question: which topic was your lowest score? And you just select which one, choose one. And then, and if you were in between two, just choose one. And then make sure you scroll to the bottom and hit submit. So pulling out my phone and going to minty.com. You guys do the same. And then type in that code. That's 36896948. All right. The lowest. What was my lowest? Okay. I know it. That's me, insurance. We got to talk about my breakthrough yesterday of why insurance is so low.
Yeah, definitely had a breakthrough yesterday.
Yes, I will share that in a second. So we have a few folks saying estate planning is their lowest. Someone else is with me in the insurance front. Anybody else want to add theirs?
Take you 2 seconds to do that, to add it. So I know, Tiana, you said insurance was your lowest.
Yes. And I'll talk about my breakthrough in a second.
Okay.
Okay, so now we can go to the next one. Which topic was your highest score? What did you rate high? How are you feeling about it? And you should be able to just hit refresh. Okay, you guys see it. It's coming through. So we have benefits highest, okay, insurance, credit, mindfulness, love it. All right. Well, thank you guys for participating in that. So now just to move on with that, we want to do a little reflecting. So again, pull out a sheet of paper, answer these prompts, based on what your highest and lowest score, write a few notes about the why between it. So, why do you feel like you got that low score? How does it make you feel? Addressing that, what has prevented you from making progress in this area? And then on the higher scale front, what did you do to get your higher score? What do you think you can apply from the higher score to the lower area? Mm-hmm. So as you guys are thinking about that, I do want to share the breakthrough that I had. And so yesterday, as we were preparing for this session, Janai and I were talking, and Janai asked me what was my highest and lowest score. And I said, my highest score was credit, and my lowest score was insurance. And she asked me, and when I said it, I said that I don't play about my credit. I think that was my words. Like, I don't play about my credit. And then, so for me, credit has felt like, I was a very studious student in school, like good grades. Credit to me is like taking a test for school. Like there's very thoughtful things that you can do to improve your credit. You can watch your score. It's like a grade to me. And so it's been easier for me to focus on that and to have a high score on that, because similar to how I conducted myself in school, I can study, I can do the work to improve my credit. It's a very actionable thing. On the other hand, insurance for me is very emotional because it's about life insurance. It's about, my home. I own a home. I've just had a lot of like conflicting feelings about owning the home, and my family lives in that home. I don't live in that home. So it's emotions tied to my family and protecting our assets. And, it's just a lot of emotions that I haven't dealt with that prevents me from taking action in the insurance area, even though working with Janai and last October, we addressed insurance head on, and I know exactly what I need to do, and I know exactly who I need to reach out to, but there's something that is stopping me. And I've realized through this breakthrough with Janai is that I was not confronting the emotion that I had been attaching to insurance, and that has been delaying me from actually doing what I need to do. So that's my example. Janai, do you have an example that you want to share?
Well, my personal lowest score which is our March month, which the third one on the wheel, which is organization. And people are like, oh, that's not a big deal. Being organized is a huge deal in the context of money. When you can get your hands on your tax returns, your bank statements, your passport, your will, life, and like, you're supposed to be able to do it like this. And I can get my hands on my stuff. God forbid, if anything ever happened to me, my husband would be in really, really, really big trouble. And so what my breakthrough for me was, I've always kind of given myself the excuse, how busy I am. Like, I can just bust a move real quick. Oh, you know what? I can deal with that later. Oh, I could do, I'm too busy. I could deal with that later. And it's not true. Mm-hmm. And I've minimized it, but I feel the stress of not being as organized as I need to be. Not being able, how you have your life together so good in a particular area. And then when you're not a perfectionist, but when you're used to kind of performing in a certain way, when you don't do something well, it's like, it's a really big deal. It's a real big deal. So that was for me. It's just like, why do you keep making these excuses? Why do I keep making these excuses versus me just really addressing what it is? Why let's go ahead on and come up with a solution, to this problem. But to the story about you, Tiana, when you said, oh, I don't play about my credit. So I'm like, so why don't you play about your insurance?
And I was like,
yeah, like, why don't you just take that exact same energy and just turn that, like just take that energy and just turn it. Like, I don't play about that. And we have to be okay with, even if we don't know exactly what it is, like estate planning, like who knows how to do that? Like for real.
Right.
You just need to, like, I don't play about that. I'm not leaving no mess for my family. I don't play about that. My family is not going to leave a mess for me. I don't play about that. You don't have to know how to do a will. You don't need to know how to do that law, but like, what is your commitment?
Right. To showing up and figuring it out.
What is your commitment? Because see, once you check that box, you can just move on. Like, I'm done with that. Like what are we doing next?
Right.
So Tiana, I would love to hear from some other people. If you could kind of drop in the chat, if anybody wants to share anything, like I would love to know what why your low is low and why your high is high.
And feel free to drop in the chat. You can take yourself off of mute if you want to chime in. We would love to hear your thoughts there. Do we want to? We can see if anybody drops. Oh wait, is somebody talking?
Yeah, this is Crystal. I'll be honest, debt is for me my lowest. It's the facing it and to deal with it, and I have so much, and trying to figure out how to do it without saying to myself, "You're not going to win the lottery. You got to figure out a way." I'm just being real. So that's what this year I'm trying to work on. My budget, everything take care, and now I'm a caregiver for my mom and trying to get her paperwork, be organized in her paperwork, and I get mine organized. And that's something that threw me in a full loop last year towards end of the year, finding out now I got to get her paperwork together. She's pretty much got something, but I got to get her paperwork together. I got to get mine. I got to get everything together. And then when I look at my debt, it's like how I'm going to do it because, to be honest, they got collectors out there and they don't use regular collectors. They use attorneys. And now they want to take you to court. And right now, for saving some mothers, to be honest, it's COVID, because otherwise they'll be taking you to court now. And so I gotta figure out what I gotta do and do what I gotta do.
And Crystal, I'm so glad that you said something, because remember when Tiana was talking about at the beginning our In Real Life series, how like life happens and it can shift your financial focus, but also can have financial impact. So when you're a caregiver, and you're trying to get people's stuff together, that a lot of times is a signal that's going off like ding, 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 like that's urgent. Like I want to focus on some of these other things, but if I don't do this, I'm going to have this many problems if I don't take care of this. And so when I hear you, that's what I'm feeling immediately, particularly as someone who's been a caregiver, like, let me take a minute. Let me get was my great aunt for me. Let me get my mom's stuff for you. Let me get her stuff together. Because if anything happens, I do not want this snowball to get even bigger. So we got to pay attention to that. Like, listen to the cues, because, your gut will tell you, like, wait a minute. And see, this problem is new for you. People have been caretakers forever, having to, figure out the paperwork, move your mom in, get her straight, get her Social Security right, deal with the, like, this has been happening forever. You just don't know what to do. And then Tiana, what I hear, debt is always a really heavy one for people, because because people feel so bad, like they don't even know where to start. It's because they're assigning an emotion to the number.
Mhm.
you know, versus just saying, you know, here's my number, 10,000, 100,000, you know, whatever that number is. Like this is where I am. It's like getting on the scale. You know, when you weigh yourself, you're like, oh my God, like you got to be freaking kidding me. Can you just get on the scale without signing an emotion to that number? Can it just be your number? This is your starting place.
Mhm.
This is simply your starting place, but our emotions won't even allow us to get the right energy we need to be like, let's go. Like, what we doing?
Mhm.
Let's go.
Yes. And thank you guys for dropping in the chat about some of your highest and lowest. And we're going to talk about tactical ways to address that. But just to call out, so in the community, we do have a lot of resources on these topics. So for
Already.
you to be able to take action like immediately after this, there
Mhm.
are some resources in the community. So debt, we have you know, a handout
Great resources. Yeah.
resource about that, how to increase your income so that you can pay that debt off, you know, different we have an estate planning. I see a few folks saying estate planning. You can always watch the replays of all of our sessions, though we will have new sessions this year, but this is going to be a build of what we've already covered. So know that there are some resources in the community that can help you like today.
Literally. And just to reiterate what Tiana is saying, that wheel had 12 things, right? 12 different topics. Those are the topics that we focus on every single month. Literally in that exact order of that wheel. So what you need, the majority of what you need, with the exception of taxes, because we launched in March of last year, taxes is the only subject that's not out there right now. You don't have to wait for us to deal with the estate planning. We don't talk about that again, technically as a group until August. You can get what you need about estate planning right now. Literally right now, you can begin. We have an attorney. If we all put our money together, we could not get in front of Tiffany McKenzie. She's the baddest chick in the game. You have the access to the best, amazing women right now within our community. Don't wait. You know, your low scores do not have to stay low. Please use our resources.
Yes. And I'm going to share my screen again so that we can dive into that a little bit more. So we all have a million and one goals maybe for this year, but we want you to be thinking about whatever your lowest score is. That's an indication of what your urgent goal is. That we set a deadline Q1 2022. So by the end of March, how much progress can you make on whatever you scored the lowest on? We can set other money goals, but really addressing this, because this is probably rooted in our fears and kind of preventing us from moving forward. So we definitely want to address that. And then to Janai's point, the Thank Me Later Money Calendar is all of the topics that we just rated ourselves on. So we focus on a different topic every month. Some months you may not need as much work, but we definitely want to, you know, be our sister's keeper and invite someone else, another woman into the community so that she can do the work too. But some months you may not need to do anything, or you may need to just kind of touch up on some things. And then other months you got to roll up in your sleeves and really get things done. But the urgent goal is whatever you score the lowest on. That needs to be done like now. So we're going to talk about some tactical ways to do that.
Tiana, just one thing that I wanted to add. Can you go back to the wheel just for 1 second?
Sure.
You know, what I want everybody to understand is with this wheel, we're assuming every month, of course, you're still paying your bills, right? You're checking your balances. You are following whatever commitments you have. Call it a budget, call whatever. What we're saying is each month, there is also something else that we need to focus on. So we just took the guesswork out of it. You don't have to guess what the other topic is you need to focus on. We're going to lead you through that. And you think about it, it is in alignment with the calendar. We're going to talk about taxes in February, because why? Tax returns are due in April. Remember, open enrollment begins typically October, November. We're going to start talking about benefits in October. We are doing all the thinking that you have to do. You just come along with us. We will keep you on track all year long on what you have to focus on. Because ladies, you cannot pick money up and put it down. We have to have a commitment of what we're doing. So a lot of us who are having problems, our low scores is because we don't have the structure of focusing on our money year round. We're kind of picking up, put it down, squeezing it amongst everything else. We have to have a year round commitment.
All right, so we have some music elements and some gifts because it's fun. So real quick, if you guys are new to the community, you may not know Janai's background as a business manager in the entertainment industry. So a big part of what we want to do is change the energy around money, incorporate music a bit more, since in so many areas, music is a soundtrack of our life. So we wanted to anchor this session into a lyric. So J. Cole's one of my favorite artists, so kind of biased, but he has a song called My Life. And a lyric says, I done made it through the pain and strife. It's my time now, my world, my life, my life. And I identify with that because it's like acknowledging whatever you've gone through. We've all gone through struggles and pain and have fears. But now is the time for you to make change. Now is the time for you to take control of your life and to feel empowered about it and not paralyzed. So wanted to put a lyric, check out that song if you're curious. And so we have another Minty question. So pull out your phone again. And we're going to talk about life events. So life events, whether they're positive seemingly or negative, we want to kind of set the tone and see what life events have we all experienced. So if you go back to Minty, refresh your screen, you should see this question, or if you're joining us late, type in minty.com on your phone and type in this code. And then you can select multiple life experiences. So you'll see that there's some positive ones, some negative ones, but these are all life events that do have a financial impact. So we just kind of want to see where we all fall and select as many as apply to you. All right, just added mine. So let's see where we are. A lot of people know the struggle of making ends meet, drowning in debt. On the positive front, buying a house, managing said house. That's where my struggle is. What else do we have? Ruining our credit, getting promoted, medical procedures. Keep them coming. So I think this is interesting, and I really like this tool because it also helps us see how united we are. Like so many of us have struggled to make ends meet. It's an issue that we've all dealt with, or not all, but a lot of us have.
Absolutely.
And helping us see like you're not alone. Like we're figuring it out, or you might still be figuring it out. But if we are open about our experiences, we are more able to push through them because we know we have community and other people who can help us navigate it and support us on our journey. So thank you guys for sharing here.
And Tiana, it's just something about being able just to tell the truth about that too, because a lot of us, I feel, it's a lot of effort to hide and to pretend, that it's all perfect and you got it all together. And you're like, look, it is straight a struggle for me. Like that stress of every single month, like we know what that feels like, what that means, So let's tell the truth, because that in and of itself is a huge first step. So we're not saying that you got to get on social media and tell the whole world. But what we're saying is it is our truth. It's like, again, getting on the scale. You get on the scale and there's a number. This is what the number is. It's just the truth.
So true. And then we have another one.
Denise just said that. That's important. She said it doesn't matter if you're working for a minimum wage or have a 2-income household. That's a good point. That you are absolutely right, Denise, because people assume, you make assumptions that because there are 2 people working in the household, oh, they must be good. It can be the exact same struggle.
Mm-hmm.
The exact same struggle.
Right. Because if you peel back the layers and you're like, yeah, you may be making a lot of money, but you might have married somebody that had a bunch of student loan debt. And now you know, are the good money that you're making is now going to pay off your debt. So
Right.
what's on paper, if you peel back the layers, there could be a lot more to it, to the story. Our next Minty question is, what life events do you anticipate having? So this is an open-ended question. Think about, you know, this year, do you plan to buy a house? Are you going back to college? Or do you have a child going to college? You know, what life events, whether they're positive or negative, well, you don't kind of anticipate having negative life events, hopefully, but, you know, you might know in the situation that you're in. But if you guys can just chime in to think about having a child, starting an online business, investing. Yes, buying a house. I love that. Speaking into existence. It's going to happen. Can we see them all? Okay. Keep it coming. New car.
Mm-hmm.
All great things. Okay.
Right. And ladies, there's just something about saying it. And in that way, we can begin to say, you know, if we're thinking about having a baby, if we know that we're going to get a promotion, if we know we're going to get a new car, if I know I might have to start supporting my grandparents, what can I begin to do right now to get ready for that?
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole different thing versus it just kind of just showing up. And it's like, oh, okay, now you end up on your butt versus saying, oh, okay, I might have to start supporting my grandparents. Let me see what my budget is. Okay. Oh, I can afford to help supplement $600 a month, $200 a month. This is how I'm going to make that happen. Here's the plan. Maybe I need to help them cut down on their expenses. There's certain things I'm gonna have to cut down on mine. Maybe there's a way for me to generate additional income. Maybe there's some resources that I can find to help them with their expenses. Like once you know that commitment and that intention, now you can be able to begin to put the plan together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's a whole different thing than it just kind of popping up on us. Like we have to learn to be more proactive, put a plan and strategy, because we should be executing.
Right. And I think that's so important because it's shifting it from allowing life to happen, which is gonna happen, but to being empowered to take control of your life, to take control of what you want to happen. Though you're going to have to deal with whatever life throws your way. And even if you create a plan, it may not go according to what you had in mind. But when you put that intention to say, this is what I want to see come out of my year, then you can take action to towards that.
And Tiana, another thing people can do is begin to have different conversations and tap into their resources. Like if a lot of you, if you work for a major company and you have, even through HR, they have resources to help you care for elderly family members. You know, they can point you in the right direction for certain things, even certain legal things too. Like who in your network do you need to begin to talk to? Who's already had to take care of an elderly parent before? Who do I know that I trust their judgment that's bought a car in the last few years that I can kind of tap into? Like we got to begin to have more conversations, exchange more information. So that way you'll know how to navigate these life situations.
That's so true. You don't have to figure it out alone. Like there's people that can help you, but you have to know what you need help with and then ask for the help or find the resources that you need.
And early. Not when your back is up against the wall, like you start talking about it really, really early.
All right. So we answered this. What life events do we anticipate in 2022? And just want to call out, like, that's what Thank Me Later is for. We try to make sure, you know, life is going to happen. Good, seemingly good or bad things are going to happen, but we want to make sure that you're financially prepared for whatever life throws your way, that you have a plan, that you feel confident to execute that plan. And then going back to the purpose of this session is that you have the mindset and the belief that you truly can accomplish the money goals that you set out for yourself. All right, so let's talk about fears and limiting beliefs. Let's talk about the feels, all the feels. Okay, so what is a limiting belief? So a limiting belief is thoughts and opinion. Whether you realize that you have this thought or opinion, or unconsciously it's embedded in you given your circumstances or your upbringing, but a limiting belief restrains you from growing. It keeps you where you are. It keeps you playing small. And it could be about you. It could be about how you interact with other people, the world, things like that. But it's something that you say to yourself, again, either consciously or unconsciously, that impacts you from moving forward. And some examples that we have seen or heard around limiting beliefs around money: I'm broke. In a real quick story, I'll never forget that I was doing like a few years ago, I was doing like a discovery call with somebody that someone had connected me with. How do we get to talking about, this was for like business, but how do we get to start talking about my finances? I don't know. But I remember saying, I'm broke. And she stopped me right there. She was like, don't ever say that again. And she was like, you are not broke. And as you're saying, I'm broke, you are attracting more brokenness into your life. And she called me out in the moment, was like, take that from your vocabulary. You may say I'm frugal. You may say I'm living on a budget right now, but to say I'm broke suggests that something is wrong, and has a mindset as if you're never going to get out of it. And it's a limiting belief. So that's one that I really identify with. Other people, you might have said it to yourself or have heard it. I'm not good with money. I can never save enough. If any of these resonate with you, drop in the chat and let us know. Folks will say, my credit has always been jacked up. It's always been like this. That doesn't mean that it can't change, but when you're saying it's always been, you're limiting yourself for it to stay like that. I don't know how to invest. I will never get out of debt. I've always been unorganized. I'm not smart enough to get a scholarship. I'm bad at math. Tax season always stresses me out. I've said that a million times, and I'm watching my words now, but it has stressed me out in the past. And then it's not possible for me to be a millionaire. Some people may say that's for white people, or it may not feel attainable for you, but know that these are all limiting beliefs, because you can get out of debt. You can be organized. But if you are not mindful of what you're saying to yourself or what you're thinking, then you won't make true progress, because you are limiting yourself. And so the limiting beliefs plus the life events, whether they're positive or negative, may lead to fear, which is false evidence appearing real. Our experiences, we bring that into where we are, and that impacts how we show up and how we move forward. Oh, I don't know what that is. But so that's impacting how we move forward and how we overcome the fear, but knowing that we have to change the story in our head so that we can make progress. Because if you never address where you are in the story that you're telling yourself and the limiting beliefs that you are telling yourselves, then you won't be able to move forward. All right, so now we're going to talk about another Minty question. What is one of your biggest financial fears? All right, so we're going to refresh. And then if you guys can share your fears, go to Minty. And this is an open-ended question. All right. Oh, I didn't write this one, but living paycheck to paycheck like my parents, I feel that. Risk of investing, not having enough money to retire, not being able to retire financially sound, not leaving anything to your kids. And really appreciate you ladies for your honesty. You know, even though this is all anonymous.
Yeah.
It's not easy to really be honest with yourself sometimes. I mean, it's things that you don't want to talk about. We don't want to think about this, but we have to if we want to make real change in our life. forever in debt, that are waited too late to save enough, not being able to pay your bills, not building wealth for your kids and your grandchildren. These are all real, and we really do appreciate your honesty.
For sure. And I can feel it too. You know what I mean? Not just read it, but I can feel what y'all are saying.
I'm too old to start. That's so real. And that is an example of a limiting belief, because you're really never too old, but you may feel like it. And it's okay to acknowledge how you feel. Your feelings are not facts, but it's how you feel, and they deserve space and room to, you know, accept where you are, but to say, I can move forward. Awesome. So thank you, ladies, for sharing.
Very, very honest, very transparent. I wonder how do you all feel, and you could drop it in chat, just by kind of saying that out loud. You know, do you feel worse? You know, are you feeling a little better? Just so now you can, you know, sometimes you can kind of get things off your chest. I'm curious how you feel now by putting some of this stuff out there.
We have relieved, yes, empowered, a lot of reliefs.
Yeah.
Love that.
And certainly probably not alone too, you know.
Right. I feel seen.
Yeah. Right. Like, I am not the only one.
That's what Regina said. I feel better that I'm not the only one with these fears. And it shows, you know, how much we have in common. And we're kind of always often in our silos or not comfortable talking about money and how we feel about things, but presenting it in this way. And we hope that you guys can take away that you're not alone, that there's other people who are going through it with you, and you have a community to support you.
Right. Right.
Awesome. So I'm gonna share my screen again, and we're gonna zip through. I know we're probably gonna go to about 8:30, ladies. So if y'all just hang tight, we have some actionable things to do to reach our urgent goals. So a little bit more of your time. And this is being recorded, so it will be available in the community. You can watch the replay. You can invite other ladies to join so that they can watch it, even though they didn't experience it live. But we definitely want to share the information. Definitely. And all create change. So, all right. So, just to real quick, so we can understand, how do our financial fears impact us from reaching our money goals? So we're just honest with ourselves. These are a few ways that it may impact you. So it's keep you playing small. You're doubting yourself. You're afraid to take risks. Some folks said afraid to take risks with investing. You're setting small goals because you don't think that you can reach bigger goals. So your financial fears are just kind of keeping you in this small box where there's so much more inside of you that can be birthed, but you have to confront your fears so that you can reach those goals. It may be preventing you from making more money, from saving, from investing. It's literally limiting you right now. Impacts your ability to set boundaries with yourself and others. So boundaries with yourself with budgeting, boundaries with yourself with saying no to lending money to your family. And then it also just entices you to remain where you are. Again, keep playing small, stay in your comfort zone, but we all know that there's no true growth that can happen when you're in your comfort zone. So really addressing where you are, those fears, not applying judgment or emotion to it, but just saying this is what it is. And that is the foundation for you to move forward. So let's talk about how to conquer your fears. So we acknowledge them. They're here. Hey, fear. What's up, sis? Okay, now we're about to conquer them. So a few ways to conquer your fears. We're doing the work now, but just as, again, how can you take what we're talking about today, continue to apply it, make it a part of your practice? So one, face the facts. Assessing yourself, we keep saying without judgment, because it's so important not to assign emotions, because then you get in your feelings and you're not able to take action because now you feel a way about it. So just facing the facts and accepting them for what they are and moving forward. Visualizing where you want to be. So spending some time alone, getting quiet, dreaming. Like, what do you want, and how will that make you feel? When you focus on the feeling, you can attract it into your life, because you know what it feels like, even if you haven't manifested it into your life just yet. So really visualizing what you want out of your life. We started off with a money mantra. So creating your own money mantras, that's maybe based on one of your financial fears. Maybe if your financial fear was investment, I am great at investment. I am making $1 million in investment, whatever it is, but so that you can speak life into your financial fear, even if it's not the reality at the moment, and continuing to repeat these affirmations. It's only time for that financial fear to go away and for you to be on the opposite side of that. Another way to conquer your financial fears is to brainstorm income streams. So we know that money is not everything, but money gives us power in again, seeing ourselves as an
Choice.
asset.
Yeah, choice. It certainly gives us choice. Yeah.
Yes, it gives us choice. It gives us opportunities. But know that, like, yes, you may have a 9-to-5, whether you like that job or not, you can increase your income. You can have different passive income streams. That job that you have is not limiting you to how much money you can make. So you just kind of got to get creative, but know that you are an asset with many gifts and talents, but thinking about how to monetize those. And especially if you don't feel like you have enough money, or you're worried about living paycheck to paycheck, if you can brainstorm a few income streams, that fear may not be immediately relieved, but when the money from the other income stream starts coming in, you will feel better, because you know that you have control over the situation. And then the last way we would recommend to conquer your financial fears is to keep yourself accountable. So money meetings, after this, we want you to schedule at least bi-weekly and treat it as important as a doctor's appointment. If your nails or hair is your thing, treat it like that, so that you're paying bills and doing those things, but you're also addressing your financial fears, and you have this uninterrupted time to do that. And then also consider an accountability partner who can support you on this money journey, whether it's someone you know, someone in the community that, if we really want you guys to engage in the community, share, so that, you can kind of see who wants to reach the same goals as you, so that, you can check in with this person.
So Tiana, before you move on, there's just a couple things that I was thinking in the context of the fears that some people have shared. So when people talk about like the fear of investing, what I immediately think is, what that means to me is baby stepping into investing. So you don't take everything that you have saved, maybe you're going to download one of these amazing apps like Stash or Robinhood, or you're going to go to something more traditional, one of the investment companies, Charles Schwab or something. Yeah. And maybe you're going to start with $100. And then maybe every paycheck you put in $10. That's what investing is. Mm-hmm. So you're not going from 0 to 1,000. It's like you baby step. You can literally begin investing with like $10, literally. And you can add $5 a paycheck, $10 a paycheck, $50, whatever works in your budget. So that can help us, instead of just saying, oh, I'm going to dive in. No, let's baby step into this so we can get some confidence and swagger, and feel really good about doing this. So people who feel like I'm struggling with debt, like I cannot figure out a way. Once you know what you owe, a lot of times I'll ask people how much you owe. They can never tell me. Like who you owe? Like how much?
Know your numbers, assess the facts.
Like, let's figure out who you owe. And then based on that, I might say, you know what? We need to get you some help. Mm-hmm. You're not going to be able to solve this problem on your own. So just like, yes, there are companies, there is so much BS on television and radio that you should never get help from, especially Black radio. It is horrible. It's very, very predatory. But we will tell you where we think you should go. go to nfcc.org, National Foundation for Credit Counseling, nfcc.org. Go to their website and check them out. Okay. So those are some things that I say, if you're struggling with debt, you can't fix it on your own. Maybe you can't. That's why some of us have a trainer, maybe you need somebody like that to help you overcome it. That's all they do. I don't want you calling anyone else that you hear anyplace else. I want you contacting this nonprofit. So that's what I'm saying. There's a solution no matter how bad it is. But we have to make a decision. Where are we? And then we got to get moving. You don't have to wait for them to come take your house. We don't have to wait for them to come, and take your car. Like, we could do something right now. We could do something right now, get the help and the support that you need, because it all already exists. So I hope that makes sense. And I hope what I'm just saying just resonated with anybody. So again, there is a solution. There is nothing new under the sun. There's not a problem that you can tell me that I have not heard. Not one. Like, it's been years since I have been shocked. I can't even tell you how long it's been since I've been like, you have got to be kidding me.
You've seen it all. You're like,
I promise you, I have seen it all. So obviously in varying degrees, of course, but there is a way. There is a way.
Yes, and a little plug. I dropped in nfcc.org. We did have a session last year with a representative from there. So you can go in the community, thankmelater.money, and type in debt. I believe it was under debt. And you can watch the replay. So the resources are out there, ladies. All right. So a few more topics to tackle tonight. So we talked about conquering your money, your financial fears. And so again, want to do a little reflection. So if you all can write this down, finish the sentence, feel free to drop it in the chat as well. I need to heal from blank so I can make progress on my money goals.
That's a deep one. Yeah, that one's a little deep.
Right. It's like, ooh, wait a minute. But now that we're aware, what are our fears? So, we may not have been able to answer this question at the beginning because we didn't really know what our fears were. So now that we made it through most of this workshop, answer this. I need to heal from blank so I can make progress on my money goals. And I wrote mine down and I'm willing to share.
Okay.
So I said, I need to heal from my savior complex from my family so I can make progress on my money goals. And calling it a savior complex was something I didn't want to admit to myself. But if I'm honest, I do take on more responsibility than I need to. Like I've grown up, kind of real quick about my upbringing. My family didn't have a lot of money. So at an early age, I had to figure it out myself. If I wanted to go to college, I got to get scholarships. If I wanted to, whatever I wanted to do, I knew I didn't have I had the emotional support, but I didn't have the financial support from my family. And now I've realized that where I'm at now is I try to help, but I try to save them too. And it's like, they are fully functioning adults. And I'm the youngest. So it's like, who am I to be over here trying to take care of everybody when you the baby of the family, you got your own life to live. And so this has helped me see that I can't fix everything and I shouldn't carry that load that I'm putting on myself. My family's not even, sometimes they do ask for help, but those are the moments I should be helping, not me trying to save them all the time because I'm not Jesus and I shouldn't be trying to do that.
Right. And Tiana, when I hear you say that, it's not like it's one, like they're polar opposite. Like I'm going to help my family too much. And then I'm like, listen, I ain't checking for none of y'all. Don't ever ask me for anything. It's about creating some rules.
Right. Boundaries.
What are the boundaries? Under these circumstances, and these are the rules that you set yourself. This is when I can help. This is the maximum amount. Like you can do it because you can actually trust yourself with that. Like you can set the boundaries for that, like for real. And so,
Right.
Tiana, I don't know if you're looking at the chat, but I mean, just people are talking about the shame. They're talking about the shame, healing from the guilt, you know, healing from the embarrassment. Like every one of us has done something in our life, whether it's financial or otherwise, that we're not proud of. You know, like just join the club. And certainly all of us have made financial mistakes. You know, whatever it is, loaning money, being in a relationship, oh, that's the one. You want to lay on the floor and hear some stories. You hear women talk about how they have financially supported, you know, men that they've dated. Whether you're talking about getting into too much debt or investing in something that didn't go well. Like it could go on and on and on and on and on. So it's all true. And it's all over.
Right. We addressed it so we can move forward.
We did. Now it's real. I'm not saying, and I'm not even saying that it didn't make you feel bad or horrible, but it is true. So, but now it's like, okay, like how long do you get to punish yourself for this? You know, like at what point, like we know it. Like now we know better. Now, the only time I have a problem is like if you keep doing it over and over and over and over and over again. Because now I'm like, come on, girl. Like, what are we doing here?
Right. Now you really know better.
You really know better. But if you made a mistake, you co-signed for somebody, you lost your job, you lost your house. I mean, we could go on and on and on with all the things. You got into too much debt. You had too many credit cards. You were shopping too much. Okay.
Right.
Yes, and yes. It's all very true. But now what?
Now what?
It's like we gotta move forward. Like ladies, we have, not only do we have work to do, but we have our lives to live. And it's just so much baggage.
That's weighing us down or not giving us, we can have peace, but we have to let go of those things from the past so we can move forward.
You have to let it go because we need all of our energy. We need all of our mental, spiritual, physical energy so we can move forward. Like this, we get a clean slate. So, and some of us have some digging out to do.
Right.
Yeah, that's the truth. But we can dig out though. Yeah. So yeah, I know someone put in the chat before about the financial, how the impact of divorce. You're right. Like I know women who had to start all the way over, and guess what they did? Started all the way over.
Clean slate. Yeah.
Let's go. Let's move forward. So you know, my husband's grandmother always said, you know, we're gonna call a spade a spade. You know, we're going to acknowledge it is true. This is real.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Right.
You know, I think I've told you this before, Tiana. When I got pregnant in college, I was traumatized. Because, you know, I had this whole plan for my life and what I was going to do. And all my friends, they were all living their best lives. And so I was really embarrassed. My family had big plans for me. You know, I felt like I disappointed my family. And my mother was the one who was like, girl, listen, you have this baby, you're going to finish school. And honey, later on, everybody's going to be jealous of you because you had your kids early. Then I become an adult. And now all my friends are like, oh my God, you're so lucky. That was so smart. And I'm thinking, where were these people when I was 20?
Where was that encouragement? Because I didn't feel
there was no encouragement. Like I was so embarrassed. I had this burden for so long. And now everybody's like, oh my God, you were so lucky. That was so smart. I'm like, it is so funny how a perspective can change.
With time too. Now
with time.
Like, yeah.
I'm just like, man, why have I been carrying this around for so long? Let me go out here and just live my life and kind of keep it going. So that's what I'm saying is, I know that it's true. I'm not taking anything away from the story, but why are we just pumping all this life into these past situations.
Right.
Like we're living them in real time again and again and again and again and again. Like the fear story that I told at the beginning.
It's paralyzing us.
It's paralyzing. So people are living in shame and embarrassment and
Right.
you know, there's a lot of resentment too. Oh my God. It's easy to resent your family, you know, your spouse, your kids. You can resent your own children for the financial impact of them.
Right.
So, but all of that just feels heavy just saying all of that.
Yeah. And even if it's not your reality, it's like, oh, that's a lot for
That's a lot. Oh my God. So again, so this is a time for just for some transparency. We all have a story, you know. Rearview mirror is our past, windshield is the future. Thank you, Katrina. And that's exactly what it is. And it's real. And, you know, we can learn from that. We can share it with other people.
Right.
When we see the warning sign, please don't do that, girl. I've been there. You don't want to do that. Like you can save somebody by what you have been through.
Right. But being open and honest about it.
Yeah. Like I said, we don't have to tell the whole world, but there's no reason why. Like your story can really have some impact on somebody else for sure. We don't have to keep repeating this stuff.
Right.
But like,
let it go. Let the baggage go.
Come on now.
I love what Regina said. We need to forgive ourselves. Where and Tani said, I really despise my 23-year-old self who made so many stupid financial mistakes. And we have to let go because you didn't know when you were 23. You didn't know, or you may not have known, and you know, make the best decision. But we're not there anymore.
Yeah, and see too, you know, those are the seasons, you know, and that's why, you know, teenagers do what they do. That's why the 20-year-olds do what they do, because you don't know. If someone told you at 23, girl, if you do this, let me tell you what's going to happen to you when you're 30, 40, and 50. Of course, we all would have done different things, but we didn't have any wisdom. And culturally, for those of us as Black people, our issue too is we tend to make mistakes 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s because no one in our family ever told us. So I think we have a double whammy. It's not, you know, when you're young, you can just blame it on being young and dumb. But it's like, man, I'm 40 and I'm still doing this. Of course you are. Who told you how to do something different? So that's harder, you know, and I know how it is, ladies. A lot of you talk about retirement. I'm 52. You know, it's like, look at here, and to wonder, you know, like based on how I'm living, am I going to be okay? You know, I ain't trying to work forever. You know, nobody told us. Like, how mad are you going to be at yourself because your family, because they didn't know either.
They didn't know either. Like, we all just trying to figure it out.
Man. So if we are honest, we work through this fear, we work through this trauma, you know, we work through this mindset. But the thing, Tiana, is we have to do the work. We can't talk about this today and then be depressed. You know what I mean? Like when you feel that coming up, you're going to have to know because it's going to come back up again. What's your strategy?
What's going to keep you centered? How do you check that emotion?
How do you check it? Because we have work to do, you know, and everybody here has survived something very difficult. I don't care if you're in your 20s. You have lived enough where you have survived something. So we just got to take that energy, bring it over here.
So true. And Yolanda raised her hand. Yolanda, you can take yourself off of mute. And if you had a comment, feel free to chime in. See, you dropped in the chat, old habits die hard.
Yep, honey, it's just time for some new ones. Time for some new ones. So what you got next, Tiana?
Okay, so I want to see, Yolanda, did you mean to have your hand raised? Maybe not. All right, so we're getting to the end, but I just want everybody to just take a deep breath. Let's all just like just for 3 seconds hold it and then let it go. So roll the shoulders back. We done talked about some fears. We done talked about a lot of stuff, confronted a lot of things. It's time to move forward, but we just gotta, breathe through it. All right, so a few more things, and then we can take some questions and let you ladies go on about your day. All right, again, more lyrics. All right. Nice, a song called Nice by the Carters. Jay-Z says, "What would you do? You knew you couldn't fail. I have no fear of anything. Do everything well." That's the type of confidence we should have. No fear. We do everything well. And even if we don't really do it well, we can do it well. We have what it takes to learn how to do it better. So now that we've addressed our fears, our limiting beliefs, let's circle back to where we were, that financial fitness wheel. Let's make a plan for our urgent money goal, because that is what's keeping us up at night. That is what's stressing us out. That is what's making us anxious. That is what needs to be addressed today, and we can get to our other goals later. But right now, we need to address that urgent money goal. So in order to conquer this urgent money goal, and also, I think I forgot to mention this, but these slides will be added to the community so you can come back to them. Yeah. So to conquer your urgent money goal, you have to set a SMART goal to conquer this. It should be specific, measurable, achievable, results-oriented, and time-bound. So specific, say exactly what you want to accomplish. Measurable, if you have $100,000 worth of debt and in 2022, you want to pay off $10,000 to do it in bite-sized pieces, or maybe you want to pay off the whole 100,000, but you got to have a plan for that, but make it measurable so you can be able to really track yourself, and achievable so that you can actually make progress, and it's not too big of a goal that you feel like you can't do it or you feel paralyzed because you aren't making progress. Results oriented, it has a clear beginning and end, and then time bound. We're setting the goal, address this urgent money goal by the end of March, end of Q1. Depending on your goal, may not be able to, but you can at least make progress towards that urgent money goal. You also, we mentioned this before, want to log into the community. You can type in the search bar different topics to find what content has been shared already. There is information out there to help you. So log into the community and take advantage of that. On a very tactical front, write down at least five tasks that you need to do to make progress towards your goal or to finish it completely. So depending on the level of the goal, depends on, how many tasks you actually need, but at least writing down what are the tactical things in bite-sized pieces that you can address to make progress or finish it completely. Collecting the information and resources that you need. Again, knowing, who you can contact, knowing what you should research, what organizations are there to help you pay down your debt or show you the way of doing it. Just collecting the information so that you can make progress and you have everything you need. Going back to the money meetings, bi-weekly money meetings, you need uninterrupted time to work on your goal. It doesn't need to fit in with everything else you got going on. It's like, this is the time I create my vibe. I got my candle lit. I got my wine. I got my coffee, whatever it is, depending on the time of day. But you have this uninterrupted time to make progress on this money goal. And then again, Janai and I have been talking about how this is an ongoing practice. There's lifestyle changes that you might need to make, habits that you might need to build so that you can prioritize this goal. So determining what lifestyle changes you need to make so that you make progress or you don't end up in the same situation. And then this is for your reference, we do have a download in the community. You can type in January goal setting. So there is a 4-page document that talks about how to tackle your now, soon, and later goals. So now meaning this year, soon 2 to 5 years, and then later 5+ years. But I will say this is after we address our urgent goal, because these goals might be like fun and cute and things we want to do and we're excited for. That urgent goal is what is maybe rooted in fear that's paralyzing us. So we first want to focus on that and come back to all of these goals. But I did want to mention that we have this amazing resource in the community for you to take a look at. And then homework, because again, we are taking action. We are holding ourselves accountable. We are holding each other accountable. So in the Thank Me Later True Few community, the community in general is organized by topics. And so in the January topic, we would like you to leave a comment and share what your urgent goal is. So log into the community, and if you're confused about the topics, don't overthink it. Just wherever you can see that you can post, just post it and share what your urgent goal is so that we can cheer you on. We can all touch base. We can see, potential accountability partners, because if we may have similar goals. Janai and I have a similar goal, though this isn't my urgent goal, I'll say. Organization is something I want to do too, a better job at. So that I know Janai is focusing on that. I'm focused on that. We can keep each other accountable. So we want you guys to share your urgent goals so that we can help each other and support each other. And that's the end of this portion. I'm going to, before I talk about these other events, just want to see, does anybody have any initial questions or how we feeling, checking in? Any thoughts? Just want to give you guys a moment before we talk about the rest of the programming, and then we'll wrap up. Oh, wonderful. Glad that it's been helpful. Starting off.
Makes me happy.
Yeah, that makes me so happy. We're trying something new, guys. So I'm glad this is going to resonate with you guys.
And the only thing, Tiana, that I wanted to do.
I had a question.
Oh, go ahead.
I had a question. I didn't see it on the wheel, but I'm pretty sure it might come up sometime in one of the discussions this month in regards to the cryptocurrency and the Bitcoin. I was thinking about investing, but I just wanted to get kind of speak with a professional in regards to getting more information about it before I actually did the investing.
Okay. So you can, that is, we technically don't tackle investing until April. Yes. But if you message us within the community, we will share some information with you about that. My quick 2 seconds about it. I'm not pro or anti it. It's an alternative investment. So if you have $1,000 to invest, I'd only take about 10% and put in something alternative. You always kind of slow walk alternative investments. You want to educate yourself, feel comfortable, just go through a reputable, use a reputable company, like a reputable app. People are reaching out to you on social media, y'all skip all of that.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, the only other thing that I wanted to mention is the tactical, because that's kind of how I am. When people are telling me a lot of people are preparing to be a caregiver, when I hear that, you know what my priority is? Do I have my parents or my grandparents' paperwork together? Where is everything? Let me sit down. Do I need to have a meeting with the rest of my family so we could talk about who's in charge of what and what the timeline is? Those are the types of things that you have to do. I'm in debt. Let me go to nfcc.org's website to see what they do. Oh, they have budget counseling. Oh, they have debt counseling. Maybe I need to call one of my creditors to see if I can negotiate a lower amount or a lower payment. Maybe I can lower my interest rate. So those are the types of things that we're talking about. You can start that stuff tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Literally, you can start that stuff tomorrow. So that's how I need you all thinking. What are these steps so I can get moving? Because honey, when that momentum stops, no one's going to be able to stop you. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Latiana, I know you wanted to talk about our programming for the rest of the month. We got some good stuff for y'all in January.
Yes, we're just going to hit on this and then we're going to let you ladies go. All right. So next week, we are having a session with an astrologer named Will McCassell. And the session is about how to become your most valuable asset. So remember, We are assets. That was our money mantra for January. So Will's going to be talking about how to leverage astrology to discover yourself and maximize your personal potential. And I would just say, I encourage you all to have an open mind about this session. Astrology was not something I was familiar with, but what I took from my own reading with Will was that this is just a way to gather information about yourself and you decide how you want to apply it. So please have an open mind with that. That's going to happen on Tuesday at 7 p.m. We're going to be talking about our own gifts and skill sets and how we can see ourselves as an asset and really take our skills to the next level. So that's next Tuesday. Then the following Wednesday on the 19th, we are having Black Wills Matter. So Black Lives Matter, Black Lives do matter. Black wills matter as well. Because if you do not have the paperwork to suggest how your assets are going to be distributed, the state is going to decide for you. And you're leaving your family in a mess, essentially. So Tiffany McKenzie, who is our amazing estate planning attorney, if you have been in the community for a while, then you may remember in August, she did a session about healthcare power of attorney and power of attorney. And if you weren't in the community, you can log into there, type in Tiffany's name or type in estate planning. You will see the replay of that session. Tiffany walked us through step by step how to complete those legal documents. So we're doing a follow-up session specifically to talk about how to complete your will and in the process of getting your will completed, in addition to creating trust so that you can transfer wealth and secure your legacy. So
Okay.
that's on Wednesday the 19th.
Okay. Only thing I want to add about that, if you have a bank account, if you own a house, if you have a minor child, you need a will.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Not saying you need a $10,000 will. You need a will. So you definitely want to tune in with us. You in charge of your sister, your mama, your grandmother. You ain't in charge unless there's a will.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We all know how that goes in our families. Let's tell the truth.
We don't want the hot mess. It'll be a hot mess if somebody passes away without a will. We can avoid that hot mess.
We can avoid that. You need one. So let's get ready for Tiffany. Get your questions ready. Let's tell the truth about our family so we can make sure y'all navigate this the right way. But Tiffany is amazing. You know, she's a jewel. And she is here to guide all of us. So please tune in and get your questions ready.
Yes. And then we have a premiere of the episode of Thank Me Later Real Life, how to turn your stay-at-home mom dream into a reality. It is possible, and we want to show you it's possible to be a stay-at-home mom if that's what you want, if that's your dream, if that's what you've just kind of thought about, if being a full-time mom and full-time employee is too much. There could be ways for you to scale back on employee or completely be a stay-at-home mom. And we want to show that it's possible. And if that's what's best for your family, because everybody's situation is different, if that's what's best for your family, we want to show you how. So we have Chantel Boyce, who is a stay-at-home mom. She previously had a really great job and she decided that this is what was best for her family. And so she's going to talk through how her and her husband went from having 2 incomes to 1 on a very tactical front, the actual steps that they took to make that a reality, because again, that's what was best for their family and the direction that they were going in.
Tiana, talk about changing mindset. I think about all the women, including myself, who are like, I never even thought that was possible for me. So how could I try to put a plan together for something that I never even thought that was possible for me? So I wish I would have known that a Black woman like Chantel existed, you know, so I could have modeled my life after hers. Okay. And they're not rich, but they're working people like the rest of us. All right. So please, you want to share that and tune in with that. What's next, Tiana?
Yes, and then we are going to wrap up the end of the month with a Define Your Yoga, how to find your yoga flow in 2022. So Michelle Davis, Janai's personal yoga instructor, she will be sharing a yoga sequence. We'll be doing yoga with her. And then she'll also talk a bit about our relationship with money and how to evaluate that and to address where we are. So she's just a wealth of knowledge in general, but she will be doing a yoga session. So bring out the yoga mat, get the yoga pants on, get comfy, because we will be doing yoga together. Again, our objective in 2022 is to talk about how to do the inner work on an ongoing basis. And this inner work is going to address our money goals. And that's what Thank Me Later is all about. But it's also just going to impact every area of our life if we know what to do to get centered, to stay grounded. And so Michelle's going to talk a bit about that and give tactical yoga poses that we can do. And also to not make it feel unattainable. Like, you don't have to take a class. You don't have to watch a YouTube video. You can know what poses you need to find your flow, because your yoga experience is going to be different than everybody else's. But Michelle will be sharing some ways to really get in tune with our inner yogi at the last Saturday of this month.
And so don't feel intimidated. You're like, girl, I don't do no yoga. I don't have the strength for that. This is for anybody at any level. So it'll be some yoga. It's going to be some breathing. You're going to love Will. You're going to love Tiffany. You're going to love Chantel. Michelle, I promise you, as I have gone through some very difficult challenges in my life, is how I got out of the bed. Like, they're all amazing people, but you all are going to love her. Like, she has literally changed my life and helped me get, literally where I could not pick myself up. And so she is bad. So we're going to learn how to breathe. We're going to learn about our relationship with money. Y'all are going to love January. That's all I'm going to say. Y'all better show up.
Show up, invite your girlfriends.
And invite your friends and your neighbors and your cousins and whomever
Ladies only.
else. Listen, ladies only, but I am so excited. And I'm so grateful for the Thank Me Later team, Ani, Tiana, and Lauren, for all the work that happens in the background to make all of this happen. And we're all learning too. So we're not perfect. We are on this journey with you all, but it's just a pleasure to serve you. It's a pleasure to work with you. And it's a pleasure I can't wait to see where you all are in like 3 months and 6 months, like, some praise reports and all of that. So I'm super, super excited. And Tiana, thank you for your idea and seeing this through, incorporating some mindfulness into Thank Me Later and our programming as a whole.
Absolutely. I'm so glad I was able to share. This is the work I've been doing and I'm continuing to do. And I really, really hope that this session touched you, that it helped you grow and stretch, and that you feel like you have what you need. You may not be where you want to be. We all have areas we want to improve on, but I really hope that you feel empowered to go after whatever it is that you want, to attack the financial fear, to take ownership of your life, because you deserve it. And I'm so excited to see you guys shine. So y'all let us know if y'all have any questions. But other than that we can wrap up. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you all. Have a good evening and continue to communicate with us in the community. Let us know what you need, what questions you have, and have a good night and great weekend to everybody.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye.
This was so good. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Good night.